Hi, and welcome back to A Positive Light. I'm Joni Lane, your host, and we are here live streaming on LCM TV. And thank you, LCM TV, for having us. You were listening to music by Sam Houston from his Beyond the Crescent Moon album. Also, A Positive Light is also a meditation center in Kelseyville, California. We are located in Northern California, and we hold meditation classes, self-help classes, personal growth classes, many different classes. But every Monday at 7 o'clock, we hold a meditation for 1 hour at the Meditation Center in Kelseyville. There's no cost to this particular class on Monday nights. We are a non-profit, so it's donation-based. But it's based on Buddhist meditations, and we start with Sati meditation and work our way through metta meditation and Vipassana meditation. If you want to know more about the classes, you can visit the website at apositivelight.com, or you can call me or email me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have. And my information, my contact information, and the website information will be showing up on your screen throughout the program today. So you might want to get a pencil and a piece of paper and make note of that, because it will be coming up and down throughout the entire show. Also, on the second Tuesday of every month, I hold a 12 in Zen. And 12 in Zen is based on the book by Bill Crumbeen, 12 in Zen. And what we do is we take, it's based on the traditional AA steps, and we've also incorporated 12 steps for Zen practitioners and 12 steps for societal normal. And we take a step and meditate on that particular step for the month. We don't meditate all month long, although you can, but each month we take a step and we meditate on it on that Tuesday night. And then we pair that step with the Buddhist koan. And a koan is a parable or a story that's been intentionally paired with that step. And through meditation, we can see how that step develops, kind of have a different relationship with the step. Often things come to us that we weren't aware of or weren't paying attention to when we were working on our steps. So it's a really interesting class. If we have 12 people there, we will have 12 different views on the step and the koan. And we like to share the information so we can learn from each other. But again, that's the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock. And there is no cost for that class as well. That one is also donation-based. So we're looking for sponsors to the show here, and if you'd like to support us, we'd like to support you. We try to keep our costs down. We can do advertisements for you as low as $40 a month. So contact us with what you'd like to share, and we'd love to promote you on the show. Also, if you or someone you know has a positive message they'd like to share, please contact me and let's talk about being a guest on the show. I have several guests on the show whenever I can get them on here. We're all so busy these days, but last week I had Lama Norbu on, and that was an interesting show. But if you have a positive message, I'd really like to share that and support you. So contact me, call me, email me, and we can talk about setting up a show with you as our guest. I'm also a Reiki master teacher, and I like to teach Reiki. Reiki is Japanese energy work. Very similar to Qigong, which is Chinese, but it's more of using universal energy, and we use our bodies as a conduit, moving the energy through our body and to other people. Very powerful, very healing, and the energy can do wonderful things, and it's something that needs to be experienced because it's very difficult to explain. But I am a Reiki Master Teacher, as I said, and I do teach levels 1, level 2, and then there's Master and Teacher. So I do teach all 4 levels, and I'd love to share that with you. Contact me if you're interested in learning Reiki, and we could set up a class for you. On the last Friday of every month, I do a Reiki Healing Circle, which I just held last Friday, which was September 25th. We had 8 people, and you come in, we do a little bit of gentle yoga, a little gentle Qigong, get some energy moving, and then you will lie down and relax as I give you Reiki energy. And people they sign up immediately after the class because it's so powerful and they love it. And I love sharing it. So if you want to get in on next month's class, which will be October 30th, please email me or call me and let me know. There is a donation of $10 asked for this class because of the setup involved. But truly an amazingly powerful thing to share with you. On November 8th, I will be having, November 8th is a Sunday, by the way, I'll be having Kevin Griffin. And Kevin Griffin is an author who's written One Breath at a Time, A Burning Desire. He has a musical CD, Laughing Buddha, and now his newest book, Recovering Joy. And in this day-long retreat, we'll focus on ways to bring a light heart and a clear mind to your recovery program and explore ways to cultivate joy using traditional Buddhist mindfulness teachings and 12-step teachings. This class is only $50, and Kevin teaches all over the world to thousands of people. People usually end up paying much more than $50, so we're very fortunate to have him November 8th for the day-long workshop. Please contact me regarding this to reserve your space because space is limited and people are signing up. I've tried to make it easy for you by adding a PayPal button to the website. So if you go to the website, positivelight.com, go to our calendar page, you'll find the description of the class there regarding Kevin and the workshop, and a PayPal button where you can go ahead and reserve your space, pay for it, get it out of the way, and it will immediately notify me, and I'll put you on the email list. So those are the things that we do on a regular basis and upcoming classes. And if you didn't get all that, please visit the website, apositivelight.com. I do update that and try to keep it as up-to-date as I can. But again, if you have any questions or want some further details on any of the information printed on the website, give me a call or an email, and I will do my best to tell you about it. Explain all the details to you. So over the last few months on this show, we've been going over many subjects on meditation. And I've tried to give various types of insights in meditation because I realize that sometimes someone will get something one way and another person will get it another way. So I try and examples, hoping that one of them will ring true with you. Most of them are based on Buddhist principles, not all of them. But of the Buddhist principles, we've gone over the 4 foundations of mindfulness and the 4 Noble Truths. And I'd like to review what we've gone over because on the website I do have the archive shows, and if any of these sound interesting to you or something you'd like to review, you can go to the archive shows. There is a description for each show, and you can pick one or several that you think you might benefit from. So the 4 Noble Truths, number 1 being suffering exists. Well, we all know suffering exists because we're not always happy. Sometimes we are in a state of suffering. And then the second one, suffering has a cause. And what we've discussed on the show was the cause is attachment, and it could be attachment to your what you want for an outcome, your desire for an outcome. If you have plans on something and you want it to turn out a certain way and it doesn't, you're disappointed. You're attached to what you wanted the outcome to be, so now you're having some suffering. You can maybe attachment to someone. Maybe you're falling in love with someone and you really attached yourself to them. You identify your well-being with that particular relationship. That's attachment. And that can be a very hard thing to go through when it doesn't work, because we're attached to what we want and we feel such deep disappointment that it's very hard to let go of. We keep hoping and wanting something that just isn't there. So the suffering is real and it hurts. But the harder we hold on to something, the more suffering there will be. So this is leads into the third, which is suffering ceases when our attachment to desire ceases. And our attachment to desire ceases when we accept the truth, whether we like it or not. We accept it and let go. Let go of what we wanted. That's not to say you shouldn't try to get things. It's not to say you shouldn't try to make yourself happy by doing things, meeting people, educating yourself, maybe working at a particular job. Those are all things that are very healthy for us, and they help us grow and become healthy people. But sometimes they don't work out. So when you release your attachment to the outcome that you desire, you will release the suffering. And part of the releasing of the attachment is to accept the truth of the situation. And then the fourth noble truth, which is freedom from suffering, is possible by practicing letting go of the attachment. And by practicing the Eightfold Path, which is what Buddha taught. In order to learn how to let go, we need to really understand what that means. Yes, we know there is suffering. Yes, we know suffering has a cause. Yes, we know that suffering ceases when our attachment to desire ceases. But the hard part is learning how to do that, letting go. And that is where we lead into the Eightfold Path, which consists of three qualities. One being wisdom, the second being morality, and the third being meditation. And with those are the views. There's right view, how we see things. Right thought, are we thinking positive thoughts? Right speech, are we saying what we mean to say? Right action, are we behaving the way we should? Right livelihood, are we working in a job that suits our soul? Sometimes we don't have the privilege of the option, but we try to find what our path is and go down that path, which would be right livelihood. And the right effort. Are we putting effort into something that's positive and fruitful, or are we desiring something that cannot be? So right effort is important. Right mindfulness, being mindful of your thoughts, your actions toward yourself, your thoughts toward yourself and others. Right mindfulness is a very important part of the meditation process. And then right contemplation. How am I thinking? How do I contemplate things? Do I spend my time wishing I could make things the way I want them? Or do I contemplate the realities of the world and accept the truth? And part of the contemplation and meditation process is to bring yourself to a place where you can look at what's real, accept it, and find a way to make it work in your daily life. This is why meditation is so important, because through meditation we can learn to not get wrapped up in our thoughts and not let our thoughts take us for a ride to where we want things to be, and then come back to reality and find out it's not the way we want. It's just a constant cycle of suffering, which is what they call samsara. And it's not a happy place to be, but we all do it. And it's very easy to get caught up in that. The Eightfold Path also speaks about the aggregates, the fetters, the boundless states, and the perfections, but we won't get into that because it's very convoluted and it can be quite confusing. But let's start simple and just look at the Four Noble Truths. Looking at suffering, what causes it, how we can learn to let go. It's kind of the formula to happiness. The Eightfold Path also has the three characteristics of existence, which is transiency, sorrow, and selfishness. And those are things that can be looked at. Once you learn to settle your mind and kind of let go of thoughts, let go of what you want, let go of your desires, you can start looking at the three characteristics of existence. And then there's the things that get in our way, the hindrances, sensuous lust, aversion and ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and skeptical doubt. These are the 5 things that can lead us into the cycle of wanting what we can't have. You know, we get lost in some of these things. Sometimes they're a diversion from reality. Sometimes reality is really difficult and we don't want to deal with it. So we use some of these for a diversion so we don't have to look at it. But we know that's just temporary and life will come back and be there, whether we like it the way it is or not. The factors of enlightenment, mindfulness, investigation, energy, rapture, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. All very positive things, and they take effort. I think this is where right effort might come into play, because it actually takes some effort to do some mindfulness. Once you learn how to be mindful of your thoughts and your actions, it becomes pretty easy to do. It becomes a habit. It becomes a healthy habit. But in order to become enlightened, it is called the way or the path or the Dharma for a reason. It's a process. And we may not ever get there, but it's the journey that matters, not when you get there. I don't know if I'm ever going to become completely enlightened, but I have learned a lot by using these steps. And letting go of some of the unhappiness I thought I would have to carry with me forever was very refreshing when I realized I didn't have to carry it, when I could let go. So a little effort, but it's also kind of easy, because really when you're practicing your mindfulness, you're just being aware of your actions. When you're washing dishes, you're washing dishes. You're not thinking about the laundry list of things to do. You're simply being in the moment of feeling the water and the suds and the dishes in your hands, and you're being in those moments. And those teach you to enjoy the other things in life. If you spend time with your children in the park and you're on your cell phone texting, you're not enjoying your children. You will wake up at one point in your life thinking, wow, my kids are gone, what happened? And you will regret the fact that you didn't spend time with them. So mindfulness can really bring a lot to us. It can open up some information to us that we think we know, but we really don't. Are we spending time with the people we love? What really is important? What is trivial? I think in this past 2 weeks here in Lake County, we have been through a lot. The past couple months have been a really trying time. We've had such horrible fires, but the past 2 weeks we've had fires that were tremendously damaging. People have lost their homes. Some people lost their lives. Many people lost everything that they had, including their pets. But I think what that did was it brought the community together. And we saw what was happening, and if we weren't directly affected by the fire, we were helping, because we knew what it would feel like if it were us. And I think that that kind of compassion is something that we all want to do, but we don't always act on, because sometimes it takes a lot of effort, and we're kind of lazy. We don't really want to go spend a lot of energy on things that we're not going to get anything out of. But when you see your neighbors really suffering and losing their belongings, their homes, it's very difficult to watch, but it's even harder to go through. But talking to the people who actually went through the loss, they realized that they got out with their lives, and they started to realize, maybe I didn't get my box of photographs that I wanted, or my grandmother's brooch, or many other things that meant something to you, but they're things. And memories are still there. They won't go away. You always have your memories. So I think it kind of helped all of us kind of take stock in what's important. What should we be mindful of as we're sifting through the ashes looking for things? Many people have said it just kept reminding them how grateful they were, that even though they lost their home, they were finding a few things, but they were realizing even when they found a few things, it wasn't that important. I don't really want anybody to go through a tragedy in order to learn that. I think that we all know that on some level, and that we need to investigate that a little deeper. I think we need to really sit and be quiet with it and look at it and investigate that information. What does it mean to have this life? What would it mean if you knew you were going to lose it in a week? What would it mean if you knew you could do anything you wanted to do that was positive? What would it be? If you didn't have to worry about money, you didn't have to worry about the responsibilities that you think you need to worry about, what would you do? Would you approach life differently? And if you think about that and you find yourself answering, yeah, there's other things I would do, I would approach life differently, then maybe this is a really good opportunity for you to start that process. And that can be simple. Maybe write down 2 things that come to mind. What would I do? Would I be an artist? Would I help children in the preschools? Would I work in a nursing home? I don't know. I don't know what your answer is. But if you write them down and your soul tells you what's really important, you might want to look at that and see if you can take some small steps toward doing a little bit of that. I do know that we all have responsibilities, and we do have to work for a living and pay our bills. But sometimes just taking stock of what you have and what's really important, and what the things you want to change, and then asking yourself, what are the things I could do to make those changes? Maybe something will come to mind where you think, I could do this one little thing. Maybe it will be, you know, for the rest of this month, or the rest of this year, because this month's almost over, but let's just say for the rest of this year, you're going to make a promise to yourself to open the door for someone when you see them struggling, or helping someone with their groceries when it's too heavy, or any little thing. Just pick one thing and allow yourself to help people in just one small way. And I think that will open a door that you didn't know was closed in front of you. I think you don't even know the door is there. But I think it will open this door that you will think, wow, this is a really easy thing to do, and it feels good. And I could probably do more. So those are just some ideas and suggestions. And in doing these suggestions and ideas that I bring to you, I'm hoping you can see that meditation can help you sort out what you might want to let go of, and the stuff you don't really need to drag behind you everywhere you go. I know a lot of times we go to work and we're dragging our problems from home. And we go home and we're dragging our problems from work. And I'm not saying they're not problems, and I'm not trying to make them seem like they're unimportant, because they affect you, and of course they're important. But I'm saying don't make more of them than there is. And if there's something you can let go of and just accept as truth, maybe you should do that. And lighten that load that you're carrying, that you're dragging around with you everywhere you go. One of the things that we talked about, which was really helpful, and I hope that you go back and listen to the archives on the website, is Pema Chodron's teachings on Shenpa and the 3 difficult practices. The 3 difficult practices was one of the things that I see helps people understand the steps to take and how meditation can help with that. And the first difficult practice is acknowledging our habitual behavior. Noticing when we're hooked in Shenpa, which is something we don't like, when someone pushes our button. And immediately when that button is pushed, we tense up and we get defensive, and we start arguing, we start fighting, or it's usually not very pleasant. But noticing that behavior and where it comes from, and noticing how automatic it is, noticing that we don't even think, we just act. It's a button. It's pretty automatic. But that's the first practice, is just to notice it. How many times does this come up in a day or a week? What are the buttons? Are there more than one? Are there more than 20? Recognizing them, even just noticing them and writing them down. Oh wow, I didn't realize I had that button. But it's a way of being aware. It's a way of becoming aware of the buttons. And that's the first difficult practice. The second difficult practice is the hard one. It's to do something different, intentionally.
We can. When you've been. Well,
Got you up now.
Hello?
there.
We are here with Steve Solomon, who's our Public Information Officer for FEMA. And I want to thank you for contacting us yesterday so we can get the information out to the people as far as, that's it, as far as what's going on in the community regarding the assistance that FEMA can bring us. So thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Oh,
You're
for-
welcome, Terry. You know, FEMA likes to use every opportunity available to get the message out to our key audiences.
Well, you know, it's nice for a government official to reach out to the public on their own accord and try to get everything, all the information out to the county or to the community. So I very much appreciate that because in prior experiences here, both locally and otherwise, sometimes government is kind of hard to get hold of and get through the red tape and communications.
Exactly.
Well, I'm here to answer any questions that I can. But if I could start, I'd like everybody to know that I'm actually in the park next to the Middletown Senior Center, and that's over on Washington Street in Middletown. And we've opened a Lake County Disaster Recovery Center here a little more than an hour ago, and we'll be open today until 6, but as of tomorrow, our regular hours will be 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. here. And our mission is to help survivors who have been impacted by the Valley Fire.
Excellent. Well, we're so happy you're here because, as you know, we have many, many tragedies around us right now.
Are you going to be open Monday through Sunday or?
The Disaster Recovery Center, we call them DRCs, will be open daily.
Excellent.
Okay, great. Until the need is filled, of course.
Right.
Okay. So let me go ahead and start off with some of the questions that we have for you. And these are some of these questions are things that people have brought to us and questions that they've had that we've picked up from around the community. First of all, let's have an overview. What can FEMA do for those who have lost their homes?
Well, the way the process works is when your local county and state officials are overwhelmed by a disaster, the governor of the state asks for federal assistance, which in this case, the governor of California did. And on September 22nd, President Obama signed the declaration so that Lake County is eligible for what we call individual assistance. Individual assistance includes a wide array of services available to eligible survivors, and those can include anything from temporary housing grants to grants for repairs to homes, as well as replacement of personal property like furniture, kitchen utensils, clothing, linen. It can include repair or replacement of vehicles, medical and dental expenses, God forbid, funeral and burial expenses,
Wow.
and moving and storage expenses. And again, the key is eligible survivors.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you're eligible until you register.
What are criteria for eligibility?
Yeah, go ahead.
what's the criteria for eligibility?
Well, we need some information in order to determine that, and it starts with a Social Security number, a address of the damaged home or apartment, and proof that the applicant lived there at the time of the disaster. Then information about insurance coverage, because we don't duplicate insurance coverage that the survivor may have in place.
Okay.
Would you?
Then
I'm
then
sorry.
we need just a few more. Then we need a current contact telephone number, an address where the survivor can get mail, and if you want direct deposit, we need your bank account and routing numbers.
Okay. Would you also cover a deductible from the insurance company?
You know, when we get into really specific questions, it's out of my lane, and you know we have our experts who do that. I would just tell listeners you need to register, and we've got 4 ways to do that. Can I talk about those?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure, thank you. First, really the simplest way is to call. It's an 800 number, 800-621-3362, and 3362 spells out FEMA, so it's 800-621-FEMA. You can also go online, www.disasterassistance, that's one word, .gov, and we have a mobile device application. It's m as in Mary.FEMA.gov. Or you can go in person. So we've got FEMA registration teams at the, let me make sure I get this, the Twin Pine Casino here in Middletown, and also the Hidden Valley RV Park and Campground. And then, of course, here at our Disaster Recovery Center, we've got teams, and I'm looking now, I see 1, 2, 3, it looks like 4 people are being registered right now.
Okay, so you don't have anyone up in Cobb?
No.
Okay.
And how long? Excuse me. How long is the application? Is it a 1 page, or is there?
Well, you basically need to answer those questions that I went through a minute ago.
Okay.
Again, you know, your name, your address, social
Okay.
security number, phone number, etc.
And once
We try to keep it as simple as possible.
right.
That's good.
Once an application request is submitted to FEMA, what is the time period involved in going through the whole process?
It depends on the individual survivor's situation. Some are more complicated than others, but basically, after if there's property that's involved, a FEMA inspector needs to get out there, and that's done by appointment. And then the inspection report is submitted. The homeowner has an opportunity to see what that is and comment about it. And then FEMA will inform the homeowner if we've got all the information that's needed, or perhaps there's something that was left off the application or needs clarification, and then that's worked out, and the grant can be given to the eligible survivor.
So,
So to answer your question, it's a long answer.
yeah.
Basically, it really does depend on the individual, but our goal is to do it as quickly as possible.
So it's really no different than putting an insurance claim in. Some are easier than others.
That's probably a good analogy.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just go over everything real quickly, make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm actually
sure. Yeah,
posting
take your
this to
time. Yeah.
Facebook as we speak. So the criteria is a person's name, proof of address, insurance coverage. You will not duplicate coverage if there is insurance. Current
Right.
phone number, address for mail, and bank account routing numbers for direct deposit if desired.
And the social security number.
Okay, I missed that one. I knew I was missing something. Okay. Okay.
So you have all that information. If you can get that together, then make the call or go online or use the app or come over in person to one of our locations and sit down with someone. We're very patient.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we need that right now. Okay. Go ahead, Pete. With the next one. Let me finish.
Some of the questions you
updating
already
here.
answered, so I'm going to ask you another one. Lake County is, we have a lot of people who do not have internet. Most of them just have, quote, cell phones. Do you have any written documentation that can be provided, to them in advance before they go down to one of your centers to apply?
Well, they can use the phone to hook up on that app, the M as in Mary.FEMA.gov, and get it that way through their cell phone. That would be my suggestion.
The website that you gave us, disaster assistance, is that .gov?
.gov, G-O-V.
Got it. Okie dokie. Okay, so now all that's up on the website. Those people that don't have insurance, you're pretty much there to help them, those people that are without any coverage at all? Is that what I'm
So,
interpreting?
I mean, euphemistically, we'd say we're here to help the eligible survivors get up on their feet again. All these grants are ultimately coming from U.S. taxpayers, so it's part of the whole overall budget from Congress.
Well, thank goodness they have that.
Do you have any?
It's to get people up, on their feet
On their
again.
feet.
And
Sure.
and again, everybody's welcome to visit us over here at this disaster recovery center. We'll take the time. We'll answer the questions. We'll provide any assistance that's needed. We like to say that it's one-stop shopping for federal services.
Oh, that's great.
Is there any maximum limits that FEMA will provide to an individual?
There is a maximum grant amount set every year for disaster relief. At this point, it's over $30,000. The amount is set based on the fiscal year, which will be hitting soon, so that could change. But that's where we are with that at present.
Okay. Because I think a lot of the public needs to know what that limitation
Yeah,
is.
and you're saying maximum relief is over $30,000. Now that tells me that if there was someone who lost their home and didn't have insurance, this is not going to replace their home.
Well, again, we like to say that it's to help people get up off their feet. As far as putting people back completely to where they were better, that remains to be seen.
Okay.
Is there any other government aid besides going through FEMA that could help these homeowners with no insurance?
Absolutely. One of the other agencies that has representatives here at the Lake County Disaster Recovery Center is the U.S. Small Business Administration. And these are the folks that have an application process like us, and they make loans to homeowners as well as businesses.
Oh, great.
I didn't realize Small Business Association would do that for individuals, not just businesses.
They do, and it's at a better interest rate, and I encourage everyone to check that out too if they
Okay.
come over here.
What about FHA or VA? Do they participate in any way?
I'm not seeing that on my list here, so I would have to say I'm not aware of that at present.
Okay, because they do have a lot of different programs for rehabbing and things of that nature, but the criteria there might be different than what we're going through right here in Lake County.
Okay.
So, you had a question?
Yes. The people that we've had a lot of fires here in Lake County. Let's face it, we've lost over 200 square miles of land due to various fires since August. And we had the Rocky Jerusalem and the Great Fires. All three of those fires, there were homes that were destroyed. Would any of those people have any eligibility for assistance based on this?
The declaration is for Lake County, and it's for the Valley Fire that started on September 12th and continuing.
Okay.
So that's the specific language in terms of looking at who's eligible.
Okay, I'd heard that FEMA only comes out when there's a certain number of houses that have been destroyed. The number I think I heard was 1,000. Is that correct, or will they just come out whenever there's a request for them to come out?
Now, FEMA comes out when the governor of the state asks for federal assistance and the president signs a declaration to provide it.
So if the governor had asked for any assistance for those people on those fires, then there's a possibility they would have been helped.
I can't speak to the governor's.
Oh yeah, I understand.
we-
No, I'm just trying to get an idea of whether it was based on a house count or just on the request itself.
Well, again, FEMA only goes in at the invitation of the state,
Gotcha. Okay.
and we're here for Lake County and for the Valley Fire.
Okay. In regards to the Valley Fire, can and will FEMA provide any form of temporary housing for those who are totally have been help me with the word.
Have been displaced.
Thank
Their
you.
homes have been
Displaced,
lost,
right.
The there are grants for temporary housing, but if you're specifically speaking about mobile housing, there are no plans for that at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm
well,
asking this question for obviously obvious reasons, that when Katrina hit, FEMA brought in a lot of trailers to house those people who suffered through that hurricane.
Yeah, so they're not going to try to do that with these people here?
What I can say is that at this time, there are no mobile homes.
Because we have very
Being,
limited places for
being used.
people to stay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have very limited housing for people here, and the winter's coming, and those people in campgrounds are not going to be able to stay in those campgrounds because of the winter temperatures. And even though we do have mild winters here, it's still going to be really too cold for people to camp out until next year when their houses might get rebuilt. I know those that have insurance probably will have no problem getting rentals until then, but again, we have a limited amount of rentals, motel rooms, campgrounds, campsites, RVs, that kind of thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at 1,200 homes destroyed, approximately, on the average, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people that have been displaced. How are we going to manage housing them during the winter? That's the thing I'm worried about.
It's interesting because of that situation. FEMA staff is not permitted to lodge within 30 miles of the county. So we're actually all commuting, if you will, from adjacent counties
Wow.
into Lake County to do our jobs,
Jeez.
to try and free up as many hotel rooms and whatnot
Right.
as possible. But to answer your specific question, I would strongly urge folks who are in the kind of situation that you're describing to register with FEMA and make their condition clear that they're in that position, what you've described, so that we can see if they're eligible for a temporary housing grant.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Okay. That'd be great, because I think there's going to be quite a few people in need on that level based on what I know of our county and what the availability of space is.
Do you coordinate, meaning FEMA, with any government funding or that might be available under the same circumstances?
I'm not sure I follow. Other agencies funding?
Well, state of California, if I remember correctly, has some funds available to help for those who've gone through the Valley Fire. Do you coordinate or communicate with the state government agency responsible for that to make sure that there's one, you're not funding the same thing, but number two, just ensure that the coordination is there for the person that may require the help?
Every disaster has a federal coordinating officer and a state coordinating officer. The federal is appointed by the president. The state is a coordinating officer is appointed by the governor. They typically work side by side to keep track of just those kinds of things.
Okay. We heard, and I can't remember where I heard it from, that I believe FEMA advanced the county $3.5 million from the Rocky Fire.
I don't have any knowledge about
It
that.
wouldn't have been from
Or was it
FEMA.
from the state?
It
I
was
take
probably
that back.
from
It was from the
yeah.
state. I apologize on that one.
That wasn't FEMA.
Right.
Because again, FEMA was not called on that
Right.
fire, so
No,
they
you're
would
absolutely
not
correct.
be doing it. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
What is our time frame once someone fills out an application? How long does it take them to get through the process?
we kind of.
Well, I think Peter asked that about 20 minutes ago.
I'm
into the
sorry. I guess I
interview,
didn't
and
write it down. I must have been.
She's busy typing away, getting all the information. I'm just
yeah,
sitting here.
I was trying to say that it depends on the individual circumstances, and Peter said, "Oh, like an insurance claim," and I said that would be a good analogy.
Yeah,
So
because we're
stick
going.
with that answer.
Yeah, we're going through insurance claim ourselves right now, so that's why I said that. How it's funny. We get the phone call or the message from you on, I think it was on Saturday or Sunday. Obviously, you're reaching out to all the media here in Lake County and beyond. What can we do as media, knowing that we're basically small county based, we're not the big boys out of San Francisco or Sacramento? How can we help FEMA do their job or to communicate with the public?
That's a great question, and I really appreciate it. I would suggest two things: that you keep your ear to the ground and let me know when you're hearing things that don't sound quite right, so that we can talk about it, and if need be, I can investigate and find out what's the truth.
Yes, we've already made it known that we are here to do rumor control, and also we've put a call out to anybody who's being denied any kind of service or help, that we would help them advocate through the process as well at no charge, so we can help people get through it.
And the other thing I would say is just to remind people to register, please, if they haven't, with FEMA. The 1-800 number, the website, the app, or come in person.
Okay. Will you be releasing any quote-unquote press releases to give us an update on the information or anything else that you can provide the public?
I can promise to do that with you whenever I get a news release.
Great,
Okay.
that'd be awesome. We just like to keep people informed.
Right.
Now, here's a question for the future. Seeing the situation that we have here in Lake County, we're a very rural county. We have very limited broadcasting resources. Many people don't have internet. Many people don't have telephones. Many people don't have TV. And a lot of people have radio. There is one radio station here that did a really good job on the emergency management part of it, but their broadcast area is limited. There's another new radio station that's supposed to start up in Cobb, but they haven't had much luck getting funding together to get that up and running. And then there's our station, which is a quasi-TV station because we're only online, but we would like to be a broadcast station. Is there emergency management funding that would be available to expand some of the media that we have here so we could provide a much more integrated emergency response in these type of situations?
That's an excellent question, and it's about a subject that I have very little knowledge, so I'll have to do some research and get back to you.
That would be wonderful because, again, we're a very poor county. The county does not provide any money to any of the media for any kind of emergency management services, and we'd all like to be able to provide a much better coverage of these situations. With this current fire, the Valley Fire, CAL FIRE started issuing their orders for evacuations at about 1:30 in the afternoon, but the sheriff's office orders didn't go out till 7:45 in the evening. And I personally feel that we would have had a lot less of destruction, especially personal and animal lives, if we would have been able to get the word out to people much sooner and in a much more efficient manner than what we've got operating right now.
I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Just give you an example, on the Rocky Fire, which I realize has nothing to do with FEMA and yourself right now, my wife and I, and this is not trying to toot our own horn by any means, we're broadcasting live probably 15, 16 hours a day to provide the public as much information as we could. Yet we're limited because we're internet based only, plus we can do it through our internet online magazine. So be it us or be it anyone else in the county, it would be great if we could have some other forms or better lines of communicating to the public.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a black hole here as far as communications, and we really do need to try to do something to improve that for sure. Okay, anything else we need to go over here?
Let me get my glasses on. I'm old.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know while he's looking up his list?
I'd like to thank you for your hospitality, for giving me the time to talk about why FEMA is here and what we're doing and how we'd like to help. It's greatly appreciated, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Absolutely, you're always welcome. We do a live talk show every Wednesday from 9 to noon. So if you want to be like a regular, feature on that program while you're here, you're more than welcome to give us a call in and just let us know the status of what's going on, and we can keep in touch, keep the people informed that way.
Or come in live with us.
And we'd love to have you in the studio.
Sounds great. I'll try to do that.
Okay, and I'm going to make an assumption, which I already know the answer, is that you don't mind if we repeat this section of our interview online on a continual basis. Plus, I assume we can take this information and put it into an article on our magazine.
Super.
Okay.
That would be outstanding.
Okay, great. Well, we're happy to do that. And whatever you need, you just give us a call. We have quite a good following, both on the air and on Facebook, and we can help you get whatever you need distributed. And we're more than happy to do that. So.
Thanks so much, Terry.
Sure,
Thank
Stephen.
you, Peter.
Martin, welcome. We're here to help you and get the communications out to the public. So I appreciate your time and the information.
Great. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
A lot of people want to turn us off,
I
but that's
know.
okay.
No, you're not going to get away with it like that.
No, not that. It's too easy. So that was a very good information
Yes.
that he provided.
Yes, and it's such a simple process. There's no reason why anyone cannot do this. And of course, Peter and I have volunteered to walk people through the process. If they're confused or they don't have internet, you can come to our office. We'll be happy to get you through the process the fastest way possible to help you be able to get through this and get taken care of as soon as possible.
And I think what we can also do is, instead of having to, even though we'll replay this interview program, we can also put up a slideshow. So when we're not running the program,
Yes,
with
with all
you-
the points.
phone
that we
number,
just got,
right, the
yeah.
points, the phone numbers, the
a good
website, so
idea.
you can go online anytime to lcm-tv.com and get the information you
Right,
require.
exactly.
Yeah, that was a commercial, folks. So-
oh boy, yeah. There's a lot of people out there with issues, and hopefully FEMA will help. Like he said, they will give you over $30,000 depending on what your needs are, and then also you have the state that you can go to. You have other agencies you can go to. So there is a lot of help out
Yeah,
there.
I found it very interesting that the SBA, or the Small Business Administration, actually has low-interest loans available to
Gee,
homeowners.
we might want to hit them up for a business loan.
So I found that interesting. And you also, and again, I'm just going through experience, you may also want to look at the VA, the HUD housing part of government. They do the FHA and VA loans, and they have very weird and unusual type of loans. And I know one specifically is you bought a home that had to be rehabbed completely. They give you all the funding for that. So they may have some loopholes or some criteria